Hare Krishna. Welcome to everyone to Sunday feast, Sunday Srimad Bhagavatam ISKCON Portland. Our today's verse is Srimad, it's 1:18:20. Before we start our discussion, I'm going to say some prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, devotees. I'm going to share my screen and show you to the verse. Yes, this is the verse we are going to read. I read for 3 times. येन चैवाभिपन्नोऽयं प्राणैर्प्रियतमैरपि जनसाध्यो वियुज्येत किमुतान्यैर्दनादिभिः येन चैवाभिपन्नोऽयं प्राणैर्प्रियतमैरपि जनसाध्यो वियुज्येत किमुतान्यैर्दनादिभिः येन चैवाभिपन्नोऽयं प्राणैर्प्रियतमैरपि जनसाध्यो वियुज्येत्या किमुतानेर्दनादिभिः. And dear devotees, anyone wants to repeat? Anyone wants to say the word?
Hare Krishna. Okay.
येन चैवाभिपन्नोऽयं प्राणैः प्रियतमैरपि जगत्सद्यो वियुज्येत्या किम् उतानेर्धनादिभिः. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Vijayalakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna everyone. Yena chaiva panoyam pranaha priyatamar api janah satyo viyurvijite kim uttanayar dhana dibha bihi. Hare Krishna. Sorry.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else want to say the words? Recite.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yena chaivaभिपन्नो ayam pranay priyatamairapi janasadyo vijeta kim utanyetanaadibihi.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Now,
येन चैवाभिपन्नोऽयं प्राणैः प्रियतमैरपि जनः सद्यो वियुज्येत किम् उतान्यैर्धनादिभिः.
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So now we are going to read the synonyms. Yena, pulled by such time, cha and iva, certainly. Abhipannaha, overtaken, ayam, this, pranaihi, with life, priyatamaihi, which is most dear to everyone, api, even though, janaha, person, sajyaha, forthwith, vyujyeta, do give up, kim uta anyahi, what to speak of any other thing, Dhana Adibihi, such a wealth, honor, children, land, and house. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Whoever is under the influence of Supreme Kala, eternal time, must surrender his most dear life and what to speak of other things such as a wealth, honor, children, land, and home. Purport. A great Indian scientist, busy in the plan making business, was suddenly called by invincible eternal time while going to attend a very important meeting of the planning commission, and he had to surrender his life, wife, children, house, land, wealth, etc. During the political upsurge in India and its division into Pakistan and Hindustan, so many rich and influential Indians had to surrender life, property, and honor due to the influence of time. And there are hundreds and thousands of examples like that all over the world, all over the universe, which are all effects of the influence of time. Therefore, the conclusion is that there is no powerful living being within the universe who can overcome the influence of time. Many poets have written verses lamenting the influence of time. Many devastations have taken place over the universes due to the influence of time, and no one could check them by any means. Even in our daily life, so many things come and go in which we have no hand, but we have to suffer or tolerate them without a remedial measure. That is the result of time. So this verse, not only this verse, all the verses in Srimad Bhagavatam are very, very nectarian verses, very, very beautiful. We can learn life lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So the theme of this verse, somebody must have not muted, so I want everyone please to request to mute yourselves. Yes, thank you so much. So the theme of this verse is how the time steals everything. Time steals everything. This verse was spoken by Vidura to Dhritarashtra. Even though Vidura was specifically speaking this verse to Dhritarashtra, but everyone else in the family members, they were all listening to it. They were all, in fact, listening with rapt attention. Why with rapt attention? Because whatever actually the instructions or the teachings or the sound vibration comes from the mouth of a lotus mouth of a pure devotee, it's very powerful. It not only actually, purifies the whole environment, but it also purifies the hearts of the listeners who are paying rapt attention to the teachings. So Vidura is such a powerful, and also pure devotee of Lord that everyone were actually listening, with lots and lots of respect and love and affection for Vidura. Even if we remember how when actually Sukadeva Goswami was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, in that assembly, all the other sages were also present, like Sutta Goswami, Narada Muni, Vyasa Muni, everyone else were present, right? They were also hearing with rapt attention. So, Dhritarashtra, basically, he's so much attached to the royal opulences and also the paraphernalia of the palace of Hastinapura. Even after the great battle of Kurukshetra, he was still continuing to live under the protection, the maintenance of Pandavas. So Dhritarashtra, he did so many atrocities towards Pandavas, but still Pandavas did not keep anything in their heart, and they were actually respecting him. They were treating him with lots and lots of love and affection. So Pandavas are very, very pious and virtuous people. So they were treating him like as an elderly person. They were maintaining him with lots and lots of affection and love. That's why Vidura came to the palace of Hastinapura and to enlighten the blind Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was not only blind physically, but he is also blind with his own spiritual interests. Even though he knows that even though he knows that Pandavas are virtuous and his sons like Duryodhana and Dusashan, all these are very very wicked and cruel, but still he wanted his sons to rule the kingdom of Hastinapura, and he always says that my sons has to rule the kingdom, my sons has to rule the kingdom. And he did so many injustices towards Pandavas, but still Pandavas are very very kind and compassionate, that they were maintaining Dhritarashtra with lots and lots of love and affection. And then now Vidura came to the palace, and he is preaching to his elder brother, wicked brother, saying that, my dear brother, what are you doing sitting in the palace, enjoying all the royal comforts? Are you not ashamed of yourself? You did once upon a time, you did so many injustices and atrocities towards Pandavas, and now you are under their protection, eating the food given by them. How can you actually tolerate this kind of degraded life, my dear brother? You are blind physically, you are not able to see anything, but you are not able to hear also anything. Death is coming very close to you, and you are still want to enjoy. These are the time to enjoy. Are you ready for death? What are you doing? See, since you are an elderly person, everybody, Pandavas, even Yudhishthira Maharaj very graciously taking care of you, and you are just accepting whatever they are giving to you. huh? Please, I beg you at your lotus feet. Please take some interest in spiritual life, and at least, in the last stages of your life, leave everything and go to forest. So basically, Vidura here saying that at some point of time, everybody has to leave everything in this material world. They have to leave everything and go. It doesn't matter whether a person is a multi-millionaire, or if a person is very very beautiful, or if somebody is very very influential, or if somebody is very powerful physically and or intellectually also. And if somebody has a very very loving affectionate wife or children or grandchildren or grandparents, no. And if somebody has suppose unlimited assets in this material world, at some point of time everybody has to leave everything, not because material means it is temporary. Everything, whatever we have acquired in this material world, it's not that we perpetually enjoy forever whatever our acquisitions in this material world. No, at some point of time we have to leave everything. Death comes and we have to leave everything. So Vidura is bringing this important point to the notice of Dhritarashtra, to inspire him to take up devotional service, at least at the end of his life. He's a pure devotee. He could see the death of Dhritarashtra. So Vidura is also saying that this death is a result of the time factor, which causes a deterioration of everything in this material world. And this time factor is a representative of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, very very wonderful verse in the Bhagavad Gita, I think 11.32 chapter, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, कालोऽस्मि लोकक्षयकृत् प्रवृद्धो लोकान् संहार्तुम् इह प्रवृत्ते ऋतेऽपि त्वं न भविष्यन्ति सर्वे यावशिष्टाः प्रत्यनीकेषु योधः. Krishna is saying, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, I am the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all the people. See, Krishna himself is saying, with the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on the of course, battle, both sides will be slain. So Krishna is saying that everyone, whoever actually comes into this material world, he will come as a destroyer to everyone. It's not only that human bodies are going to get deteriorated in this material world. No, not only human bodies, but also the bodies of the devatas. Even in the higher planets, their bodies, their power, their influence, their position, everything is going to go at some point of time. Actually, all the planetary systems are going to get destroyed, annihilated. What to speak of actually bodies, right? Everything in this material world, including the planetary systems, in fact, actually, the total universe, the egg-shaped universe, it is also going to go, it is also going to destroy at some point of time. So actually in the Bhagavatam, I'm going to show the verse. This is very, very beautifully explained. I will share my screen and I'll show you this. It is important to read. There are actually four categories of universal annihilation. So I'm going to read a little bit here. There are four kinds of annihilations. Nitya and occasional and prakrutika and constant annihilation. So just let us try to understand, because we know that Brahma's day and night comes, right? When Brahma's night comes, here it is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. The duration of Brahma's night is the same as that of the day. During his night, Brahma sleeps, and the three planetary systems meet destruction. This is Naimitika or occasional annihilation. So one of the kinds of annihilation is Naimitika annihilation, which happens when Brahma goes to sleep. At that time, Naimitika. And then when Brahma's lifespan of 100 years is finished, there occurs the Prakritika or the total material annihilation. So this is the second one. When at the end of the Brahma's life, after 100 years are over, then Prakritika. What is Prakritika? At that time, the seven elements of material nature, beginning with a Mahat and the entire universal egg composed of them are destroyed. See, seven material elements, five material elements we know, and Mahatattva and false ego, seven layers. I mean, slowly they are going to disposed, and the whole universal egg will also be disposed. So this is the second annihilation. And then the third one is when a person achieves knowledge of the absolute truth, he understands factual reality. He perceives the entire created universe as separate from the absolute and therefore unreal. I mean, the realization comes for a person who has realized absolute truth. Then this is called achintika or final. That is final annihilation means all the imaginatory things will be destroyed and liberation happens. So this is also kind of annihilation only. So and the last one is like every movement invisibly, time invisibly transforms the bodies of all created beings and all other manifestations of matter. So even though we might not actually feel and observe, time is passing every day, and we are actually our body is getting distracted minute by minute. Some changes are happening in our body, but unfortunately we are not able to realize. So constant annihilation happens in the material things. So that is the constant annihilation. So this is a kind of annihilation, destruction is happening in the material world. Whatever is temporary, whatever is material, that means that it is temporary and it is going to be destroyed. So that is one point I want to say. And in the Srila Prabhupada also given two examples in the purport, right? How somebody has planned, some commission has planned, he has planned everything, and at the last minute he was not there. And another example also, how people had, so many people in a group actually, they were destroyed. And moreover, not only that, in the material world, like, natural calamities like, earthquakes or torrential rains come sometimes and everything will be destroyed, right? So destruction happens in that way also. So basically, here, Srila Prabhupada, so we might make so many plans, like, Srila Prabhupada used to say, ignoring the time factor, which is actually approaching us in the form of death. We actually make so many plans, right? In this material world, we want to, do so many things like, acquire money and enjoy for ourselves, plan for our children, plan for our grandchildren, and so many things we want to do. But death actually suddenly comes. So it is very, hard to understand, about Kala and its influence. It's not easy. Even though we are conscious of the, time factor, but it is still, it is very hard to understand. Especially Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that Supreme Kala. Why actually Kala is called as Supreme? Because Kala takes away everything without any exception. It takes away everything, no exceptions to it. So that is why Srila Prabhupada mentioned Supreme Kala. So that is why Vidura is instructing to Dhritarashtra that very soon he has to surrender his very life, very life, and not only life, all the opulences of the royal palace of Hastinapura, he has to surrender everything, right? And Srila Prabhupada actually gives a very wonderful example, like what happens is I'll just tell that story of Srila Prabhupada was mentioning about one just give a second, how goat farming happens, right? We know, right? Usually people do goat farming, right? They do raise and breed of goats for their meal, like milk, fiber, skin. They want all these things, right? They are given actually high quality of hay and grass and browsings and additional supplements also they are given. But when it is fully grown and the organs are fully grown, and then what happens actually? They will be slaughtered and killed, and their flesh will be eaten, right? So goat does not know, right? In a way, because even before no, it will be slaughtered, the fresh grass is given to the goat, and goat starts eating that nicely without even knowing that death is approaching her, right? So it eats and it enjoys happily, and but finally what happens is she will be slaughtered. In the same way, basically, for human, our death is for humans also, death will be approaching, but we don't realize that basically. So we just think that okay, we are enjoying life, and Krishna has given this life for us to enjoy, and it is a human form is a gifted form. So how much ever we want to enjoy, we can happily enjoy, and unlimitedly we have to enjoy and all these things. But we are enjoying every day our whatever we earn, we are enjoying every day. But the thing is, time actually closely approaches as in the form of death, and we don't even realize. Just like goats, how do they even they don't realize, right? So uh, this is the fact we have to realize. And now now that we understand that death is coming, and death in the form of a time factor, and time factor is a representative of Krishna, and how do we even actually we conquer death, right? So our acharyas say that only we can conquer the death only in the human form of life. We have to basically conquer the death, or otherwise we have to escape this time factor, the influence of time factor, which enables us controls the living entities in various ways. Basically, this time factor also brings three kinds of miseries also, like adi bhautika, adi daivika, and adhyatmika miseries will also affect. So how do we escape this time? To escape from the these difficulties caused by time, we have to take shelter of that person who is not actually influenced by time, right? So who is that personality who is not influenced by time? That the supreme personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is the one actually whom we have to take shelter, because Krishna, the time factor, works under his direction. So, and the material nature also, works under his direction, right? So, we have to take shelter of Lord Sri Krishna to come out of this, factor. So, the Lord is never influenced by time. If someone, suppose the example is given that if someone is fell in a well, right? If he has to come out of the well, he needs the help of such a person who is outside the well, right? So he can throw some rope into the well and he can bring that person outside, right? In the same way. We also need somebody's help who is, who is a realized person in our, so when basically we have seen in Srimad Bhagavatam so many devotees how they have come out of this they have been over the death, right? Parikshit Maharaj is there, right? When Parikshit Maharaj had come to know that you know he will be killed in 7 days. Then immediately, what did he do? He was asking a question to Sukadeva, what should I do? What should I do immediately? He was asking the sages, what I should do? What is my immediate duty? Then he started listening Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami and perfected his life. He went back to God, right? He went to the spiritual world. Also, somebody is chanting. So could you please mute yourself, please? So he actually conquered death in that way. And also there was an example given in Srimad Bhagavatam about Khatvanga Maharaj. Khatvanga Maharaj actually was a very, very elevated, he's a saintly king. And he was actually a very, very brilliant and a great warrior. And once upon a time, actually, demigods asked him to help in the battle to win over the demons, and he had helped them, and they were they won over the asuras, and then demigods offered him please ask any benediction, whatever you want, we are actually ready to give you. But what happened? Katvanga Maharaj said his immediate question. If somebody else were in his position, they would have asked, "Oh, Devatas asked me to take some benediction, so I might maybe Tesla car, or maybe I can buy a house, or with all the luxurious comforts and all that." Somebody might think like that, but Katvanga Maharaj's immediate question was, "How long I have in this material world? Still, how much time is left for me in this material world?" So he was told that there is one muhurta is left, just one muhurta is left. So one muhurta is just 48 minutes. So his life, just 48 minutes. So immediately, he did not ask, he was not asking for any benedictions. He didn't ask for any benediction. He just said, "Okay, thank you so much. I don't want any benediction. I'm just going." He just went to the holy places and he resided over there, and he sat on a nice asana, and then he just focused in his mind in the meditation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just definitely he must have done this earlier in his life. That is why he was able to focus his mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not a sudden thing, so that is why we have to learn, while doing actually chanting on the holy name of the Lord, meditating, completely fixed his mind in the Lord. He just left. By doing that, he left his body and he straight he just went back to spiritual world. So that is what we have to understand. It is not easy to focus. Suddenly death comes, and it's not easy to focus our mind, unless we had practice earlier in our lives to meditate and focus on the chanting of the holy name. Death is very, very painful, basically. So who knows, right? Our organs might not work and we might not be in consciousness, but still Krishna protects, right? So if we can do it throughout our life, then at the end of life, even though we might not be able to focus on Krishna, but Krishna certainly comes and helps, right? That's what we hear from previous acharyas. So focusing on our acharyas is very, very important, especially at the time of death. By this example, we can understand, right? Successfully, actually, he had conquered death. He's a very intelligent, whoever are very intelligent, like, Parikshit Maharaj, and then Katvanga Maharaj. They are very, very intelligent people. So they, by seeing their example, actually we can understand, right, how they can if one is intelligent enough to understand that at certain point of time, death comes to us, and if somebody is alert in his spiritual practices, then he will get a notice also, like how Vidura got, Vidura understood the death of Dhritarashtra. We can also actually notice, which is coming near to us if we are alert in our, devotional life. So that's why here basically what is happening is, Vidura is saying that, see, Yudhishthira, I mean, you are doing Dhritarashtra. I mean, Vidura is saying to Dhritarashtra, my dear brother, you are comfortable, of course. They are actually out of compassion and kindness. They are giving you all comforts, even though you did so many injustices to them. But how are you able to really enjoy? Are you not ashamed? So this is the time for you to realize and take up devotional service. So Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, and so many, so many ways Krishna is directly giving us the instructions about, what we have to do. I will show you some of the verses from Bhagavad Gita. Just a minute. Okay. See, Krishna says this is about the soul. I mean, see, death, I'm speaking about death all the time. It doesn't mean that, we are truly dying. Only the body goes, right? Not the soul. For soul, actually, there is no death, right? So because of the misconception that, because of misconception, we think that we are the body, we are not the soul. But actually, for soul, there is no death. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita 2.20, right? Na jayate mriyate va kadachinayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain, right? So we have to understand this fact, and we are very close to Krishna. This just temporary. This body is imperishable, but the body is perishable, but not the soul is not perishable. So we are eternally existing. And Krishna gives instructions in many verses, that the material body is indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity, sure to come to end. I mean, the material body, how it is going to be, destructed, is Krishna is saying in the 2.18, right? The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity, sure to come to an end. So that is another thing Krishna is saying. And how do we actually, Krishna is giving many instructions how we can actually remember him. This is a verse from 8th chapter Bhagavad Gita. 5 and 6 verses are saying, right? Antakale, what we have to do, what is our actually duty, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yat prayati samadbhavam iti natyashra samsayaha. Whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. Krishna is promising us, right? And also in the 6th verse, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan tyatachyante kalevaram tam tam yeveti kaunteya sadatat bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. These are very wonderful instructions given by Krishna. So this is a very wonderful verse from Bhagavad Gita 12.8. Mayeva manadvastva mai buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayeva tavudhvam na samsayaha. Just fix your mind upon me, Krishna's instruction, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. So we have to take this always, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mame vyashyasi yuktvaevam atmana matparayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Surely will come to me. This is a very, very wonderful, again, another wonderful verse. Tasma sarvaishu kaleshu mamanusmara yujyacha mayarpitam mano buddhi mamevasya samsayaha. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duties of fighting with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. You will attain me without any doubt. Direct instructions from Krishna, right? So not only Krishna is giving direct instructions to us, but also the mood of, if we could be able to understand the mood of our previous acharyas, then actually certainly we will also attain. We can also try to attain at least that mood. We will be alert, while we do our devotional service. Usually, what we do is while we do our devotional service, we do it. Sometimes we do mechanically also, but if we could be able to be very alert in our lives, that at some point of time, we have to leave this body, then we will be very, very, very sincere in doing that. So I am going to show a bhajan which really I liked it, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Sharanagati song, where it is mentioned, what is the mood of actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a pure devotee. He realized actually before he gets his spiritual body, but he realized everything. And so I'm going to just please tolerate me. I'm going to sing this song first, and we can read it, and the meaning is so good. Otherwise, first we read the meaning so that it will be good. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song Sharanagati, Sharanagati 3, I think this is Atma Nivedana song. So this mood is so good, even though I'm not qualified actually to speak about this verse and speak about these things, this kind of songs, but still I just try, for myself, for my purification. Mind, body, and family, whatever may be mine, I have surrendered at your lotus feet, O youthful son of Nanda. So we cannot do that, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur could be able to do that. He surrendered everything to Krishna. The very verse today itself is saying, right, eternal Kala, the supreme Kala comes and takes away the very life of our very life is going to go, and what to speak of other things like our family, children, and opulences, and assets, whatever we have, right? So in good fortune or in bad, in life or at death, all my difficulties have disappeared by choosing those feet of yours as my only shelter. Slay me or protect me as you wish. You are the same master. You are the master of your eternal servant. If it is your will that I be born again, then maybe in the home of your devotee. May I be born again even as a worm, so long as I may remain your devotee. I have no desires to be born as a Brahma averse to you. I yearn for the company of that devotee who is completely devoid of all desire for worldly enjoyment or liberation. Father, mother, lover, son, lord, preceptor, husband, you are everything to me. Thakura Bhaktivinoda says, "O Krishna, please hear me. O Lord of Radha, you are my life and soul." Actually, this meter is very tough for me. So I'll start with the second verse and go to the first. Sampade pade jivane marane dai mama gela tuva opadavarane manasa deho geho jo kichu mor arpilo tuvapade Nanda Kishore मारो वीरा को भी जो इच्छा तुम्हारा नित्य दासा प्रतीत अधिकारा मानस सदेहो गेहो जो किछु मोर आपिलु तुवापदे नंद किशोर जन्मोई बी मोई इच्छा जडितोर भक्त गृहे जनी जन्मा मोर मानस देहो देहो जो किछु मोर आपिलो तुआपदे नंद किशोर कीट जन्मा हवो जता तुबदास बहिर्मुखा ब्रह्मा जन्मे नाही आश मानस देहो गेहो जो किछु मोर आपिलो तुआपदे नंद किशोर भुक्ति मुक्ति स्पृहा विहीन जे भक्ता लाभैते तको संगा अनुरागता मानस देहो गेहो जो किछु मोर आपिलो तुवापदे नंद किशोर जनक जननी दयित तनय प्रभु गुरु पति तू सर्वमय मानस गेहो देहो जो किछु मोर आपिलो तुआपदे नंद किशोर बकति विनोद कहे सुनो कन्हा राधा तो हमारा पराना राधा तो हमारा पराना मानस देहो गेहो जो किछु मोर आपिलो तुआपदे नंद किशोर आपिलो तुआपदे नंद किशोर. So very nice bhajan, right? So why not actually, dedicate to Krishna now, right? Anyway, it's without our, consent, we have to give up everything, at the lotus feet of Krishna, right? Why with the, consciousnessly, why with consciousness we can do that, right? So that Krishna will be so much pleased. And not like, helpless condition, not like, anyway, death comes when we become old, and, anyway, death comes and, we have to leave our body. And instead of, surrendering to Krishna at that, point of time, why not, before, right? Consciously with attachment with Krishna, with, so much love for Krishna, voluntarily we can do it, not in a helpless condition, right? So, very nice Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, bhajan. So, dear devotees, it's 8:47, but whatever I wanted to share, I shared. If any other devotees wants to share anything regarding this verse, please welcome, because we have 10 more minutes, I think more than 10 more minutes. There are so many exalted devotees in the group, so I want somebody to please, share their views and you know, share something about this verse, whatever is coming to your mind. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for the very nice lecture, the meditation on time and the wish of Lord Shri Krishna in the mood of the devotee. Any comments, reflections, questions on this topic or this verse?
Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhuji. It is very nice lecture about devotees. Krishna is the only protective God for always, as the age, any age. You mentioned it is very well that old age is must for everything, everyone, and that is important. Before that age, we have to start Krishna prayers and devotion. It is very useful to the human. So, last time it may be come or not, we don't know. But always we have to pray. Krishna only the protector of us. That is in my understanding. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Mataji, you are muted.
Oh, thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. I'm sorry I muted. Thank you so much for your revelation. Thank you so much also, Jai Sajjan Prabhu. Balita Prabhu, you want to say anything you want to add anything to this verse, Prabhu? Prabhu is there.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for your class. I appreciate it. The only thing I was thinking was I was noticing in the Bhagavad Gita verses that each one Krishna is talking about the mind and how important it is to engage our devotional activity, our mind in our devotional activities as well. And you touched on that, but that was one thing I was thinking of while you were reading those and everything. And yeah, because sometimes we have like you said, we become mechanical and we allow our minds to wander around here and there while we're doing kirtan or japa, or even during class and everything. But to keep the mind fixed is a challenge. But one sadhu I heard one time said that one of the aspects of Krishna consciousness is to catch the mind. Once the mind is, once we catch the mind and engage it in Krishna consciousness, and it's one of the goals to get the mind to stay engaged. And thank you.
Yes, Prabhu, actually, the point we should be actually, I have heard, I think I didn't remember from whom I have heard before, when I was preparing for this lecture, that one should be very alert. We don't know death at what time it comes, right? So that point actually touched my heart. Every day doing devotional service, in the name of devotional service, we are doing some activities. I'm talking about myself. I don't know how much we are truly doing heartfelt devotional service and remembering Krishna all the time. Sometimes even in doing devotional service also we are not remembering Krishna, at least myself. So we should be very alert. When we are alert, the point touched my heart is when we are alert in devotional service, every minute thinking that okay, death comes, in the form Kala, comes, Krishna comes in the form of death. And then we'll be very alert, basically. Always we try to remember Krishna, leaving all the other things. Of course, we have to do our prescribed duties, but still, while doing prescribed duty, we can actually, we have to remember all these things. So that is the realization I got actually when I was preparing. I was also a little worried that what I am remembering actually, right? I'm hardly remembering the Lord. Um, I am, in my mind, I'm not actually exactly keeping while in services, doing services and all that. So thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Anyone wants to share your realizations of this verse? It's not about what I have spoken or something like that, because I'm very insignificant. But out of compassion, devotees are saying that. But if you have any realization about this verse or anything like that, you can please come forward and share about
Hare Krishna, Madhuri. Anand Pranam. Very wonderful lecture. You mentioned about how we have to be conscious about death, and um, even as devotees, we realize that, but still sometimes we tend to take the Swami Krishna consciousness very light. So was good to hear all those. So, and a wonderful bhajan in the end of Unit Thakur. It was very beautiful. So you mentioned about how we should uh, focus our Krishna consciousness in a way that we are able to remember the Lord at the time of departure. So in the Bhajan, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also mentioning that he wants to get association of a devotee who does not desire for liberation or mukti. So the question is that isn't focusing to leave the body by remembering Krishna in a goal of leaving the material world, isn't that mukti spraha, like we are having a desire for liberation? So how is that? Um, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur is recommending that we need to become a devotee who does not have a desire for liberation. So how do we understand this?
So, Prabhuji, if I rightly understood your question, so remembering Krishna is not, begging him for liberation, Prabhuji. So I will try to, say what I am understanding about your question and answer, but, devotees might please help in adding to that. But devotees, we understand, right, in Krishna consciousness, devotees never aspire for any kind of liberation, right? Even though there are five kinds of liberation. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur's level is something different. But actually, when we remember Krishna, remembering Krishna means when we start devotional service and when we chant and everything, basically what happens is we will get closer to Krishna, and the remembrance comes automatically, and that remembrance is with out of love and affection for Krishna, not for any gain, including liberation, right? Because as Krishna conscious devotees, we don't want liberation. We always want Krishna prema, right? Love of Godhead, and we want to be with Krishna. We want Krishna's association. We want Krishna's service. We want to be with him and serve him personally, but we don't want any kind of liberation, right? So we don't keep. So which can I want to share the screen and again the bhajan. And what is your this thing, Prabhuji? Because which verse you are talking about? Could you please let me know? Here I have posted this again.
The verse 6, Mataji, Bhukti Mukti Spriha Vihina
Eyeing for the
Aje.
company. See, eyeing for the company of that devotee who is completely devoid of all desire for worldly enjoyment or liberation. Yes, Prabhu. So your question is, we are aspiring for liberation, right? From Krishna. That is why you are saying, right? So why did he say like that, right? That's what your question, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, because when we the verses like Antikala Shamami Vesman. So in this, we are making it a quote unquote goal to remember Krishna at the time of at the time of leaving the body. So in my mind, I think that to be like a partial desire for liberation, even though our ultimate goal is to serve Krishna, but even
Yeah, Prabhu, I
focusing in
understand.
that way that.
Yes, Prabhu. Now I understand your question, Prabhu. What I thought was right, but only thing is, Prabhuji, there are, there are 5 kinds of liberations: Sayujya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sasti. Another one. So 5 kinds of liberations are there, Prabhuji. So liberation is different from attaining Krishna. Love of Godhead is different from liberation, Prabhuji. So liberation means the who aspire for liberation, impersonally aspire for liberation, Prabhuji. Like merging into the body of the Lord, or attaining the 4 other kinds of liberation. Sarupya means getting the same form as the Lord. Samipya, being with the Lord. Sarsti, having the same opulences of the Lord. Like this, the different kinds of liberations are there. But a Vaishnava devotee, who practices pure bhakti, devotional service, he never aspire for any kind of liberation. His only goal is to remember, to be with Krishna, to attain love of Godhead. I mean, love of Godhead, just pure love for Godhead. Then Krishna takes. The devotees doesn't even aspire to go to the spiritual world or something like that. Devotees aspire to be with the Lord, basically, to be in the association of Lord, to serve the Lord. So that is why Bhakti Vinod Thakur here mentioning that they don't aspire for any liberation, because liberation, this is aspiring love of Godhead for Krishna, and later, of course, Krishna gives opportunity to go back to Godhead and be with Him and serve Him. But initially, attaining love of Godhead is highest than all kinds of liberations, Prabhuji. That is why Bhakti Vinod Thakur mentioned over here like that. Okay, liberation is something even in actually Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also. Srila Rupa Goswami in the first section, second chapter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu mentions, he quotes different verses from most of the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam and also from other scriptures, saying that practitioners of bhakti, they don't aspire for any kind of liberation. Practitioners of pure bhakti, they always want the love for Krishna. Okay, they want to be with Krishna, but main goal is to love him, actually attaining pure love of Godhead. Like how gopis and Srimati Radharani has love, right? Like Yashoda Maya, and 5 kinds of relationships we know, right? Like motherly relationship, like Vatsalya Rasa and Sakhya Rasa, like Arjuna, right? You must have definitely heard about all these rasas, right? So devotees wants to have that kinds of either Vatsalya, Sakhya, Dasya, or conjugal Madhurya relationship with Krishna, but they don't aspire for liberation. Liberation is just liberation. There is beyond, pure love of Godhead is beyond that. So this Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, we can proudly say that actually explains, this is the only cult, explaining about that kind of love towards Krishna. This is happening only through the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu, I think, hope this answers your question. So we are very fortunate. Basically, we are attending a special thing from this. So thank you so much. Paramakarna Prabhu also posted some verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 29. Prabhuji, 29, 13 it is. So which chapter it is, which canto, Prabhuji? So you can also refer that, Prabhuji. Prabhuji is posting something. So hope this is clarifies your question,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Yeah, there
Yes,
are 5
Mataji.
kinds of liberation. But devotees doesn't aspire any kind of liberation. They just want the love of Godhead. Okay, Prabhu? Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, so it's 9 o'clock. Anyone wants to share anything, or Prabhuji, we can close it. Anyone wants to share?
Sorry, I just wanted to second what Janita Prabhu said. The bhajan at the end talked everything that you said and talked about today. It was really nice, very something to reflect on. It was a very serious topic, and yeah, a lot of learnings in this lecture. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
So much, Hare Krishna. Anyone else wants to share anything?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much for a wonderful lecture this morning. I was actually in 2 minds to join or not join. I'm glad that I joined. I felt that whatever he spoke, looks like at least good part of it is realized knowledge. So I'm glad that now I'm able to perceive the realizations that you have and sharing your realizations with us, right? Especially with the kind of devotion that you had and the devotional tears I got to see for the first time. Very wonderful while you're singing the bhajan. Thank you for giving us that opportunity. Especially, and one more thing I want to share is about the aspect of death, right? I mean, as some of you guys know, I went to India with all great plans and all that, and I had a lot of plans. Like, no, I'll go to that dham, this dham, and booked everything. Within 3-4 days, I mean, everything just completely changed, and it just took 24 hours for my whole life to be completely upside down, right? With His grace, of course, I'm able to get back in shape pretty soon. But it just, when you're sharing this, right, it kind of realize, oh man, yeah, that's what happened to me, right? Yeah, we never know anything would happen anytime, so there is no time left. So that's the realization that I got. Since you asked if anybody got a realization, so this is the realization I had, Mataji.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Wonderful. Your life is an example also, right? So there is absolutely no time left. We think we might have so much time, and I'm personally saying myself, Prabhu, actually, I'm also worried. How do we leave our body also? We don't know, right? Recently, Her Grace, Gaurangi Mataji left her body in our, congregation, and it was so painful. She must have definitely reached spiritual world, but we have to think about ourselves also, right? So yeah, wonderful realization. Yes, Prabhu, whatever you shared, really, it's making lots and lots of sense. Thank you so much for sharing, Prabhu, bringing up that point, Prabhu. Practical example, right? Yeah. And there was a post in Facebook. I just want to share that. And if anybody wants to share anything, otherwise we can close. But there was a posting recently I have read in Facebook that some disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, he took initiation in 1933 and 1733 and 1737 or 1637. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj left his body. So this after his Guru Maharaj left, he just fallen down and he took up various things and he stopped chanting and all the nonsensical things he was doing. Finally, he left his body and he went to Yamapuri. So there was a big queue in between Yamapuri. He was practically explaining his story, like how you explained Prabhuji, Radhakant Prabhu. Same, he was actually taken to Yamapuri because of his misdeeds and all these things. And that river is there, and he wanted to have some water, but they took him to river, and it was with full of pus, blood, and everything. So he got vomited, and he doesn't want to drink anything. Finally, he went over there. There was a big queue. I mean, Chitragupta is there and Yamaraj is there, so they are taking their accounts, and depending on their acts, they were actually giving them punishment. Then he was actually called. He was called. Then he said, see, I am once upon a time I'm a devotee. I am this thing and that thing, but I've fallen down. So please, can you forgive me? Then he said that I am a disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. Then the Yamaraj actually called Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. So that Prabhupada came there, and it is really devotee sharing, and she chastised that person. See, I have given you initiation and you started chanting and you left everything, all the regulative principles you are following, then why did you even actually start again this? Then actually, this is when he died, actually, the devotee he died and all this happened. And then he begged for forgiveness to actually pure devotee of the Lord. Then he has forgiven him, and he was actually given another opportunity. He came back again to this material world because he was put on the crematorium and the wood and all that, right? Only in Indian custom they will actually burn the body, right? So before the burning the body, he came back again to the life. And he said, Prabhupada has given me life again. I have to chant now. He got up. Before lighting the fire, he got up from that and he started chanting the holy name of the Lord. So this was the actually, amazing, mercy of our acharyas. So once we initiated means Yesterday also, I think Arjuna Sakha Prabhu was nicely, very wonderfully, beautifully narrating that, how compassionate are our, Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters, right? Disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they actually, he also mentioned, none other sampradayas, spiritual masters are working so much hard than our, Srila Prabhupada, dearmost, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, right? They have given their life, they dedicated completely their life for the well-being of all of us, right? They're working very hard. We are not able to even a mustard seed of what our spiritual masters are doing, right? Every day, 24/7, they are serving. So we had that kind of compassion. We are given initiations and all that. So yes, Prabhu, but that post actually really touched my heart. I mean, he came back, he went up to Yamapuri and he came back. And this was posted, maybe I'll post it, somewhere in our groups, then we can all read and, get the information. It's 9:08. So, Jai Sachin Prabhuji, maybe we shall stop here. Sorry for taking 8 more minutes time today.
That's okay. We're not time conscious, we're Krishna conscious. So that's what Bhagavatam is meant for. Discussion. Anybody else? Comments, questions? I guess reflections. Lots of nice comments and nice questions today. Okay. I think at this point we'll stop. Thank you very much for taking the time and meditating on the verse. That's very nice. So today Arjuna Shaka Prabhu, His Grace Arjuna Shaka Prabhu is going to be at temple for the 11:30 lecture. So please come and hear. And obviously some folks like Radha Kunda Mataji live too far away, so you can join on the YouTube channel of the temple. Okay, thank you. Take care. See you at 11:30. Bye-bye.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for tolerating me, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much.